Hi there everyone. In this video I'm showing you how to make this scarf. It's knitted in a very pretty knit lacy stitch. Now I did crochet a border on the scarf at the end because when you knit it you'll see that it actually turns in radically, and I didn't really want mine turning in. If you don't mind yours turning in that much, then you don't have to crochet a border. But this is particularly made with the border. It just stops it from curling that much. Now you can also block it. What you do is you wet it and then you kind of stretch it a little bit and let it lie flat to dry. So you really wet it and then just let it lay flat like this and it'll dry. It should dry straight. Odds are after you've worn it for a while it'll probably start curling a little bit, and that's the reason why I just put this border on. I do show you how to make the border. If you can't crochet, you could probably knit something on, just a knit garter stitch or something. But the purpose of this was to knit and crochet it together. So this is, yeah, it's a nice scarf. Make it the length that you want. If you want it to be longer, feel free, shorter, it's totally up to you. But yeah, that's the scarf and I'll show you how to make it. So for this project I am using this yarn. Now you can use whichever yarn you like because it doesn't really matter. We're not going by any gauge here, but I just found this one. It's Red Heart Boutique Unforgettable, and I'm doing it in this brownie color, and it is, I'm using a 5mm needle, which is a US size 8, and I'm doing it all in that. And this is called Cappuccino, and it says it's a 4, but it's actually very thin. So that's what I'm using, but as I say, you can use whichever yarn you want to because it doesn't really matter. And yeah, so let's get started. To start off with this scarf, we're going to you need to cast on a multiple of 6 plus 2 stitches. So I'm going with 30, which is 6, 12, 18, 24, 30 plus 2. So I've got 30 casted on, and I'm going to cast on just another 2, and that's going to give me 32. Now whatever size you want yours to be, you can make yours bigger or smaller, wider, or whatever it is, but I don't want to go too wide, so I'm thinking that 32 will be great for me. So cast on your stitches however many you want to do, and I'll show you how to do the pattern. Alright, so to begin this project, what we're going to do is we're going to knit 1, and then you're going to knit 3. 1, 2. This yarn of mine is a little bit tricky because it's got a lot of little pieces on it. So alright, then you're going to yarn over the needle. So you're going to put your yarn over the needle, just come backwards and do this, and then knit 3 to get 3 together, and then yarn over the hook and knit 3. Okay, so this is our stitch. I'll show you clearer. I just want you to see the stitch. Knit 3, and then it's yarn over the hook. Okay, so not over the hook, sorry, I'm mixing crochet and knitting, you have to forgive me. Okay, they're saying yarn over the needle. So okay, so yarn over the needle, you bring your yarn this way so it's like it's over the needle. So in between the 2, bring it in between the 2 this way, and then you're going to knit 3. So that 1, 2, 3, and then yarn over the needle again, and then you do your 3 together. I'm going to do for this row, so I'm going to finish my row. Okay, so this is the end of that first row, and I've got to go, my yarn is over the needle, and I've got to go through these 3, right, through all 3, pull it through, and then, okay, so I just went through the last 3 there, and then you're going to yarn over needle and just knit your last stitch, but remember to bring your yarn over, and then knit the last stitch. Okay, now for row 2, I will tell you exactly how the whole pattern works. There's not many rows, there's only 4 rows to the pattern. So now for row 2, all you're going to do is purl. So this will be quite a comfort compared to row 1. So all we're going to do is purl this whole row. And just keep this fairly loose. Keep all your stitches fairly loose, because as you see, when you're going through 3 stitches, it's not as easy. And just be careful that you don't pull off your stitch. For example, this one, see, that's the one that I brought over. Careful not to take him off. It's very important that you knit him. Whenever you're putting your yarn over the needle, you are actually making a new stitch. See, there it is. Because they don't say to take it off. Now, in some patterns, they might say just pull it off. But in this one, you're not. So just be careful and make sure that you do actually knit that stitch. Because then you should have the same amount of stitches as you cast it on at the end of this row. So finish this row and then I'll show you how to do row 3. Alright, so now for this next row, it's basically the same thing, but what you are doing is with row 1 you knitted 1, so this will be the same. You knit 1 and then you knitted 3 on the next row. So but on this one you're not. You knit 1, then yarn over needle and knit 3 together. Now this should be much easier. The nice thing with fluff wool is it looks so nice, but it's not the easiest to knit with. Okay, so it was knit 1, yarn over needle, knit 3 together, yarn over needle and knit 3. And this is all you're going to do, same as the other row. 1, 2, 3, yarn over needle, knit 3 together, knit 3 together, yarn over needle and knit 3. 1, 2, 3, yarn over needle, knit 3 together, yarn over needle and knit 3, and finish this row and I will meet you at the end of this row. So for the end of this row I did yarn over needle and I've got 3. The other one I ended with knitting 3 together. This one I'm knitting 3, 1, 2, 3, and then you just knit 1. You don't yarn over, you just knit 1. So you just have to be sure that you're always having the same amount of stitches that you started with. Then for your next row we're just going to purl, and I'll do it all the whole pattern with you without stopping and starting one, so at least you know. So purl your next row, which is row number 4, and then we'll start with row number 1 again. Alright, so I'm going to show you how to do all 4 rows in a slightly quicker version so you have a good idea. That's what the pattern is actually looking like, and that's the back, which isn't bad to be if your scarf falls over, turns around. What we're going to do is we're going to knit the first stitch and then knit 3. And then you're going to do what you've been doing, yarn over needle and then knit these 3 together. So it was knit 1, knit 3, yarn over needle and then knit these 3 together. Yarn over needle and knit 3. The only real difference between your rows are your beginnings and your ends, and you just have to get, as you do the pattern over and over, you kind of get used to the differences. Just be aware of which row you're on so that you don't do row 1 when you're supposed to do row 3. But anyway, this is all you're doing. As I say, it's the same thing, yarn over needle and then knitting these 3, and I'll meet you back at the end of this row. Okay, so I'm at the end of this row and you're going to yarn over needle and then go through these 3. Now for this row, okay, now if you can't get through, come from the top, stretch them out like that, and then you'll see how easy it is to get in. Just a little trick. Okay, now for this row, row 1, you put your yarn over and then you knit the last stitch. But for the other one you don't. So that's one of the variations. And then just keep counting. I need to have 32. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 25, 26, 27, 29, 30, 31, 32. So I'm good. Now for row 2, all you're going to do is purl. So purl row 2 and I will meet you back at row 3. Okay, so I'm still purling row 2. I'm nearly at the end. Just wanted to show you, be very aware of these stitches are very important. You don't want to just toss it off. Make sure that you do purl or knit these stitches. Those are the ones that you just slipped over the needle. and those are very important, so don't take them off because else you're going to end up with the wrong amount of stitches. Anyway, so this now is row 4. So with row 4 you knit your first stitch, and then for this one it's yarn over and knit 3 together. Once again, if you can't get in, just go this way, stretch them out, and then come in and do your 3. That's 3. Make sure you don't have 4 because it actually goes through pretty easily. So for that row it was knit 1, yarn over needle, and knit 3 together, and then you're good to go with the rest. Yarn over, knit 3, and you do the same thing. Yarn over, knit 3 together. So just your beginnings and ends that are slightly different. And finish this row and I will meet you back at the end of this row. Okay, so for the end of row 4 it was just yarn over needle, and I did that, knit through the last 3, and then you don't yarn. Now in the first row you brought your yarn over and then you knitted it, but not in this one. This one you just did your 3 and then you did 1. So it's kind of like the beginning of row 1. You end like that for this row. So if you just keep watching your pattern for the beginning and end, you'll see it's not hard. You just have to keep your head screwed on initially. And then for row 4, once again, you just purl your stitches. And that's all that you do. And as I say, just make sure that you keep counting your stitches so that you have the same amount of stitches on, because it's not hard, it's just a little tricky. And you just have to keep making sure. See these stitches, you don't want to knock these off. That one is fine, that's fine. This one is fine. The ones that you put your yarn over the needle, which is this one, you want to be very careful with those because they are definitely stitches. And yeah, that's basically all that you do. I can't think of anything else that I might need to tell you. Your big ones are your beginning and your end rows are for row 1 and row 3 are slightly different. Row 2 and 4 are just purling, so that's not an issue. Just the beginning and ends of your first row and your third row, but otherwise that's basically it, and that's your stitch. Very nice for a scarf. I did do mine in very thin needles, but I wanted this thin lacy look, that's why I did that. And it's going to take me quite a while, I'm aware of that. But if you don't want to go this thin, go with a thicker yarn. It'll give you very nice looking stitch as well. So okay, so to unpick your work without taking everything off the stitch, I'm going to show you how to do that. You don't want to take everything off your stitch all at once because it's going to be quite a bit of a mess and it's hard to know where you are. This way that I'm going to show you is just a lot easier. So what you're going to do is you're going to hold on to this thread. Okay, I had just finished my knit row and I didn't want it, so I started unpicking it. So you're going to be having your work face you like this. Now you got to remember which stitches you did, because some of them you had wrapped your yarn around your needle and those are tricky ones, and some you knitted 3 together and you want to catch all 3 of those. So anyway, these are now just 3 of the plain knit stitches. So there's my actual stitch. Okay, we don't want that. You want the one that is just under it, and you can see it right over there. That's my actual stitch there that I'm pulling, and that's the one underneath it. Okay, so there's the stitch, and you're going to go into this one that's underneath it, and you're going to just pull it off. See, there's your actual stitch over there, and that's the stitch there that's underneath it, and that's the stitch that you want to catch. So I'm going to go into the stitch and just pull that out. So it's into this stitch here, which is just underneath it, and you're going to pull it out. Now there's one that I'd wrapped over, so you can just unwrap him and you're good. Now this is 3 together. This is where it gets a little tricky because you've got to catch all 3 of them. So you're going to go in, you can see all 3 of them there. 1, 2, 3. These 3 here are the ones that you want to get, so you're going to go under them there. See, and there's the actual stitch still on your needle. I'll show you a few more. So then you're just going to pull that off and you should have your stitches on your needle. Okay, so there's just 1, I'm hoping you can see. See, there's your actual stitch and it's just under. You can kind of see it. It's right over there. I'm trying to see if I can get a real clear one for you. Okay, there's your stitch. And if I move it, you can see this one right over here is the one. Play with yours. I mean, odds are you're going to get it right. See, there it is there. It's right underneath that, over there. That's the one there. I'm doing it by looking at the video. Okay, stick your needle in there and then just pull this yarn and you've taken your stitch off and it's safely on the needle. So let's see, there's another one. There's a wraparound, so take the wraparound off. Now we've got 3 again and you can see your 3 there. 1, 2, 3. There they are. They're right over there. You see them there? 1, 2 and 3. Just go in there, make sure you have them, pull this off, and then that was a wraparound that was there. And that's all that you do. Okay, so I finished that row and now this is the other row. Now the first one's a bit tricky, but the first one's not the end of the world. So I'm just going to take that one off. Yeah, through the top for this row is the right way because my stitch is lying correctly. So it depends which one you're doing. But that's basically what you do. I just really wanted to show you that so that if you do make a mistake, you don't undo all of yours. The bottom line is you want to catch this one underneath your actual stitch. You want to catch this one. See, this is the next stitch. These slip ones are a little bit tricky, but as long as you've got your stitch, and when you've undone it, count your stitches and make sure that you've got the correct amount on. And if you don't, undo another row until you're happy with where I just wanted you to see how to undo your work, and then you're going to have to go down to where you feel your mistake was. And I think I'm probably good to go. You're going to have to learn your pattern. That's basically it. Learn your pattern. You can see what it looks like. There's like 2 rows between your little knot. And so yeah, that's basically all that you do. You just catch the stitch underneath and put it onto your other needle, and that will help you. Okay, so with our scarf now, you'll see that it does tend to fold over quite a bit, and it's fine if you want to keep your scarf like that and don't put a border on. That'll work, but I just thought I'd put a little border on mine. And what I'm doing is just start in any corner. I'm using a size 5mm hook with the same yarn. And you're going to just start in any corner and start with chain 5. So I started over here, whoops, and I started with chain 5, and then I did a double crochet, chain 2, double crochet. Now you're going to go into each one of these little holes here. You'll see your pattern has made a little hole. So you'll do your chain double crochet with chain 2 and then do a double crochet in one of these holes. I'll show you how to do it right over here. So all that you do is chain 2, and then you'll find in your pattern you've got a hole. Every so often you've got a hole, and I'm just going into, then I'm doing it pretty loosely. I did try and do it with double crochet and it doesn't work because it starts puckering your scarf. Because this is so lacy, the double crochet is just too heavy. So I've tried that one and it doesn't work. So I'm trying this one, and I think that this will work because it's not going to cause this to pucker like that. It's also very lacy in itself. And then with the second row I'll show you what to do with that one too. But you're just going in each one of these holes. So it's chain 2 and then go into this next hole with a double crochet. And as I say, just do it really loosely because you don't want to cause this to pucker. So just chain 2 and then do a double crochet in this hole. Go all the way around. When you get to the corner, you're going to have to do it slightly different, and I'll show you how to do that. Alright, so I've come into this space right at the end there. I did my chain 2 and I'm just going to go into this space. This is where you're going to have to just kind of play with your scarf and try and work it out. Now the biggest thing that you don't want is to have a corner that's going to pull in like this. So if you have to do extra stitches, you know, extra chains, that will also work. So I've just done 2, and I think I'm going to go into the same space. just so that your corner, you always have to compensate for your corners. So I've just done 2 in there. Now you can see I don't really have the same setting as I did there, but you can kind of see the space that you have between them. So I'm going to actually just go in, I think I'm going to go in right over here. So just really play with yours. There's no set rule in this stitch now, except that you're doing chain 2 and a double crochet. So just keep doing that. Find a little space that's fairly evenly, see, that's pretty evenly set out, and it looks like I can probably go into each one of these spaces there. There's one and there's one, over there and over there. And so yeah, just do that. And as I say, I just did 2 in my corner. I just did a chain 2 there, double crochet, chain 2, double crochet in the same space, and I'll do the same thing on this corner and go all the way around, and then I'll show you how to do the next row. Alright, so I've got to the end of this part and I'm coming to where I originally started. I did my doubles in the same space. Then I'm just going to do another 1, 2, 3 chain, and then I'm going to single slip stitch into the, I'm going to skip these first 3 chain and slip stitch into this one over here. Okay, and that'll give me my corner. Now what I'm going to do, I tried it where I did a bunch of double crochets in here and it didn't work, so I'm having to do less double crochets. So we're going to start off by chaining 3 for your first double crochet, and I'm going to do 1 double crochet in this space, and then I'm going to do another double crochet in this double crochet. So just find a spot above this double crochet, and that's all that I'm going to do. I'm going to do a double crochet in this space, so double crochet in this chain space, and then a double crochet in the double crochet just above this double crochet. And as I say, just stay loose. You want to do it as loosely as you can. So a double crochet in the space and a double crochet above the double crochet, and you're just going to do that all the way around. And then when you get to your corners, you have to just go into each one, so it'll work out where you did your 2 double crochets in one. You're going to do use that as your 1 chain as your space. So you would go double crochet in here, double crochet in there, double crochet in there and there. So don't skip over that one. That is where you're getting your extra double crochet in. And if your corner's pulling, just do extra double crochets. There's nothing wrong with that. Just do the double crochet so that it lies flat and doesn't curl up. And that's all that we're going to do. So we're just going to do that all the way around, and then our scarf is good to go. So I hope that you've enjoyed this video and that you come right. If you have any questions, feel free to answer me, and feel free to like my Facebook page, GillysCraftWorld, and you can join me there, and I'll keep you posted with the latest videos too. So thank you. Bye.